Now, you can have all the preps in the world, but if you don't have the knowledge to use them, you ain't gonna make it. If you have all the knowledge to use preps and you don't have any preps, you're probably gonna be fine. Hey, what is up everybody? How are you guys doing today? Thanks for checking out this video. Now, I kind of want to talk about being fluid, adaptive, and having the knowledge over physical things. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think the SHTF that's going to happen, at least the kickstart or something to do with the SHTF that is going to be very important, is something that we're not going to see. We're not going to see it coming, just like CV-19 happened. It was just a matter of a couple months before we went from basically a completely normal life to, well, the pandemic. And we all know how that went. You're not really going to see it happen. Now, right now, especially with Trump in office, he is very erratic. He is very unpredictable. And a lot of people like that about him. But the thing is that could trigger something that could cause an SHTF that you are not going to see. You're not going to see it coming. You're going to be like, crap, I didn't think about that. So, like messing with Iran or something like that, which we are currently doing, but that's a different subject. But knowledge. Having knowledge is going to be the most important thing. That's going to be reading books, watching YouTube videos and random dudes on YouTube, talking to people, looking at things, paying attention to things, studying things, paying attention to things when you're out. What could possibly be a bug out location? What could possibly be a threat? Situational awareness, all this different stuff all goes into your mind. This is all knowledge that's obtained through life that is probably, I think, the point of this video, going to help you out in an SHTF situation. So like I started the video, you can have knowledge and get what you need, but if you have what you need and you don't have the knowledge, you're kind of screwed. That's why I'm trying to learn my nemesis of gardening. I'm trying to learn husbandry to animals and taking care of chickens and my failures and pitfalls and things like that. Because the sooner I can be successful at it, the sooner I'm going to have successful knowledge to be able to do it in hard times. It's easy right now. I can afford failures right now. If we're a year into SHTF and I'm relying on my chickens for food and I screw up and I make a bad decision and I get all my chickens killed, which is what's been happening, I'm up shit creek. I have no other choices but to go a different direction than what I originally wanted. If I go into that situation with the knowledge and I don't have chickens, I can get 2 chickens and eventually turn that into 20 chickens and sustain food for my household pretty easily. Now I've learned that's pretty easy. I mean, chickens are not too hard to raise or anything like that. And the same thing would go for gardening. The same thing would go for self-defense. Take self-defense for an example. I'll use this as another example just to kind of stay on this point for a second. That you can have 3 AR-15s, a couple AKs, a handful of pistols, 2 shotguns, and 6 hunting rifles. If you don't know how to shoot, they're useless. If you don't know how to hunt, you're going to starve. If you don't know how to defend yourself, you're probably going to lose that battle. But if you get somebody that is highly trained in firearms, and you get somebody that knows how to adapt to situations, to understand things that are happening, like a police officer, for instance, they can look at somebody's eyes and predict what's going to happen. If you have that kind of knowledge, all you need is a 22 or a 38 revolver. You're going to be fine. So compared to the other person that has a whole arsenal and no knowledge. So you got to get that knowledge. You got to be fluid. Fluidity, if that's the word, fluidity. is kind of the point of this, the point of the video today. Having the knowledge is extremely important, but you need to be able to adapt, change, and all that kind of stuff. If you're just prepping for one single event, if you're just prepping for, let's just take a volcano. Say you live next to Yellowstone and you think the Caldera, whatever the hell it's called, the giant super apocalyptic volcano is going to blow. And you're preparing with blankets, with air filters to filter out any sort of volcanic dust. You have fireproofed your property, and you've done all these things physically to prepare for that volcano eruption. What if it's a cyber attack? What do you have to prepare for a cyber attack? Now, if you don't have anything in preparations, you're going to have the knowledge. You're not going to have the preparations without the knowledge. So once you understand what the possibilities are, which is basically anything, and it's probably going to be something you're not thinking about, preparing a blanket preparation structure to what you're doing is definitely going to be the best way to do it. Now, I don't believe we're going to get hit with an EMP. I don't believe EMPs are going to be nearly as effective as a lot of people are afraid of. But I do have a little bit of preparation for an EMP. Actually, I blew my microwave up trying to make a couple baked potatoes, and now I have a dead microwave. So I'm going to install the microwave over here under my cabinet, so I can throw a couple things in there. I can maybe throw a tablet in there. I've got some good working cell phones that aren't in use with a charger. Throw those in there. I can throw my radio in there. I can throw different things in there. Am I afraid of an EMP? Not at all. I'm not. But being adaptive and being fluid with my preps, I'm not going to rule that out. I have it, it's free, it's trash at this point, so I'm going to put that trash to use in the category of an EMP, because who knows? Now, another instance that you're probably going to have to come across when it comes to being fluid and having the knowledge, being comfortable with your knowledge, is under social unrest. Now, especially in urban areas, especially in cities, big cities, I highly suggest, if you can, get out in the country, get away from the cities, get a homestead, start homesteading. But I realize everybody can't do that. I realize almost everybody is not in a position to be able to do that. So you're going to have to adapt. Now, there's going to be good things to adapt to, and there's going to be bad things to adapt to. But you got to learn about how these things happen. And on that note, I highly suggest really paying attention to war zones. Watch videos in Gaza. Put politics aside, because it's going to be political, but watch how people are living in Gaza. Are we going to get to that point? No, but it's knowledge. It's an overkill of knowledge. That isn't a bad thing. Look at what their problems are. The trash buildup. They're getting diseased. They're living in tarps, cardboard boxes. What would you do in that situation? How could you improve that situation? Would it be worth moving further away from where all the trash and disease is to maybe take a chance of not being able to get food in time before all the food runs out from the supply trucks that come in? Things like that. Get that knowledge. Start thinking about that kind of stuff now. Look at how homeless people live around the world. Find the closest thing to SHTF in living conditions and study it, because that knowledge is going to come back and probably benefit you in some way. Even if it is siding with people you don't agree with, siding with the bad guys. If there's a group of people in a neighborhood that are kind of starting to forcefully get power, and they're starting to make the rules of that area, there could be benefits to being friends with those people to some extent, to get knowledge, to get supplies. But if you screw people over like that, you better have another plan to get the heck out of Dodge and protect yourself. But it's good to have that knowledge to be able to infiltrate, to be able to join a part of a community that might be able to save your life, to be able to survive on your own, to be able to make sure that you have food, water, and shelter, self-defense, things like that. It's all about the knowledge. So even if you can't afford certain preps, even if you are not able to have certain things in self-defense depending on where you live, even if you're not thinking that you're going to be able to use certain things in an SHTF crisis, get the knowledge, learn the knowledge, and learn how to be fluid around adapting to different situations on whatever might come. So that was basically the point of the video today. I do appreciate you watching, and I will talk to you next time. Peace.